Have you ever found yourself feeling drained after spending time with certain people? Maybe it's an old friend who constantly criticizes you, a family member who only calls when they need something, or even a neighbor who never listens to what you have to say. After 60, your time and energy are more valuable than ever, and wasting them on people who don't respect you can take a serious toll on your happiness. If you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling smaller, exhausted, or unappreciated, then this video is for you. Because here's the truth. You deserve respect. You deserve kindness. And most importantly, you deserve to spend your time with people who uplift you, not tear you down. So today, we're going to talk about 5 powerful ways to take back control, so you can stop wasting your energy on people who don't deserve it and start focusing on the relationships that truly add joy to your life. Now, I know this isn't always easy. Many of us were raised to believe that we should tolerate difficult people, especially if they're family. But let me ask you this, what do you get in return? If someone only drains you, disrespects you, or makes you feel like you don't matter, is it really worth keeping that connection alive? Let's start with one of the most important steps, recognizing when someone doesn't respect you. Because here's the thing, disrespect doesn't always come in obvious ways. It's not always someone yelling at you or insulting you. Sometimes, it's much more subtle. It's the friend who constantly interrupts you, making it clear that what you have to say isn't important to them. It's the adult child who dismisses your advice, treating you like you don't understand anything just because of your age. It's the family member who expects you to drop everything for them, yet never seems to have time for you when you need support. Does any of this sound familiar? If so, it's time to take a closer look at your relationships and ask yourself a tough but necessary question. Are these people adding to my life, or are they taking away from it? And that brings us to the first step in taking back control: setting boundaries. Now, I know the word boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're someone who has spent most of your life putting others first. But boundaries aren't about being mean or shutting people out. They're about protecting your time, energy, and emotional well-being. Think of it this way. If you had a beautiful garden, would you let just anyone trample through it? Of course not. You'd take care of it, pull out the weeds, and make sure it gets the sunlight it needs. Well, your mental and emotional health deserve that same level of care. So, how do you set boundaries with people who don't respect you? It starts with something simple but incredibly powerful: learning to say no. Now, I get it. Saying no can feel hard, especially if you've spent your whole life being the one people rely on. But here's what I want you to remember. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to something that could bring you peace, joy, or fulfillment. So the next time someone asks you to do something that feels unfair or exhausting, take a deep breath and remind yourself that it's okay to say, I can't do that. You don't have to give a long explanation. You don't have to feel guilty. You simply have to prioritize yourself, because if you don't, who will? Now, some people might not like this new version of you, especially if they're used to you always giving in. And that's okay. Because the people who truly respect you will understand and adjust. And the ones who don't? Well, that tells you everything you need to know about their true intentions. And this leads us right into the next important step in taking back control: redefining your circle. As we get older, we start to realize something very important. Not everyone is meant to stay in our lives forever. Some people were only meant to be with us for a season. But just because someone has been around for a long time doesn't mean they should have a permanent place in your life, especially if they don't treat you with kindness and respect. So take a moment to think about the people in your life. Which ones make you feel happy, valued, and heard? And which ones make you feel drained, frustrated, or unimportant? The hard truth is, the people who don't respect you aren't going to change just because you want them to. But what you can change is the amount of access they have to you. And that starts with making a conscious decision to spend more time with people who genuinely appreciate you, and less time with those who don't. It's not about making a big announcement or cutting people off dramatically. It's about gradually shifting your focus to the relationships that make you feel good, supported, and respected. Maybe that means reconnecting with an old friend who always lifts your spirits. Maybe it means spending more time with a neighbor who genuinely enjoys your company. Or maybe it's as simple as choosing to invest your time in hobbies and activities that bring you joy, rather than in people who don't value you. And let me tell you something. When you start surrounding yourself with positive, uplifting people, something incredible happens. You start to feel lighter, more confident, more at peace. And that's because you're no longer carrying the weight of relationships that were never meant to last. Now, there's still more to cover when it comes to fully taking back control, but before we move forward, take a moment to reflect on this. Your time is precious. Your energy is sacred. And you have every right to protect both. Now that we've started thinking about the kind of relationships we truly deserve, let's talk about another crucial step in taking back control: changing how you respond to disrespect. Because here's the truth. You can't always control how others treat you, but you can control how you react. And sometimes, the way you respond can completely shift the dynamic of a relationship. Let's say there's someone in your life, a family member, an old friend, maybe even a spouse, who constantly makes dismissive comments. Maybe they interrupt you mid-sentence, roll their eyes when you share your opinion, or act as if your thoughts don't matter. You've put up with it for years, brushing it off, telling yourself, "Oh, that's just the way they are." But every time it happens, a small piece of you feels diminished. So what can you do? The next time someone disrespects you, pause. Instead of letting it slide, instead of laughing it off or ignoring it, try something different. Look them in the eye and calmly say, "I don't appreciate being spoken to that way." Or, "I'd like to finish what I was saying." Now, I know what you might be thinking. That sounds too direct. What if they get upset? But let me ask you this. Why is their comfort more important than your dignity? See, when you've spent years being agreeable, avoiding conflict, or keeping the peace, it can feel unnatural to push back. But standing up for yourself doesn't mean being rude. It simply means teaching people how to treat you. The first few times you do this, you might notice a reaction. Some people might get defensive. Some might even act surprised, because they're not used to you speaking up. But that's okay, because the people who truly respect you will adjust. And the ones who don't? Well, now you know exactly where you stand. And that leads us to something even deeper: learning to let go of the need for approval. For many of us, especially those who grew up in a time when respect for others was expected, there's a deep-seated belief that we should always be liked, that we should always be agreeable, that we should avoid rocking the boat. But here's a little secret. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need the right people to respect you. Think about it. How many times in your life have you bitten your tongue, stayed silent, or gone along with something just to avoid upsetting someone else? And how did that make you feel? Probably frustrated, overlooked, maybe even resentful. But now is your time. You are in a stage of life where your happiness should come first. And that means releasing the need for validation from people who never truly valued you in the first place. So the next time you find yourself worrying about whether someone approves of you, ask yourself, does their opinion really matter? Do they add something positive to my life? And most importantly, do they treat me with the respect I deserve? Because if the answer is no, then their approval isn't something you need to chase. And let's be real, some people will never give you the respect you deserve, no matter what you do. They'll always find something to criticize. They'll always look down on you. And you know what? That's their problem, not yours. So instead of wasting your time trying to win over people who don't appreciate you, shift your energy to something much more powerful: loving yourself enough to walk away when necessary. Now, that doesn't always mean cutting people off completely. Sometimes, it just means creating distance. Maybe you don't answer their calls right away. Maybe you don't engage in certain conversations. Maybe you choose to keep things polite but surface level, rather than investing your emotional energy into someone who has proven they don't value you. And the best part? The more you practice this, the easier it gets. Because once you start prioritizing yourself, you'll wonder why you ever let anyone make you feel small in the first place. Now that we've talked about standing up for yourself, setting boundaries, and letting go of the need for approval, let's take this one step further: rebuilding your confidence and self-worth. Because here's something I want you to remember. The way people treat you often reflects how you see yourself. If you believe deep down that you deserve respect, you'll naturally start surrounding yourself with people who treat you well, and distancing yourself from those who don't. But after years of being put down, dismissed, or taken for granted, it's easy to forget your own worth. Maybe you've spent so much time making sure everyone else is happy that you never stop to ask yourself, what makes me happy? So let's change that. Let's talk about how you can rebuild your confidence and take back control. Not just from the people who don't respect you, but from the old beliefs that have kept you feeling small for too long. The first step: start speaking to yourself with kindness. Think about it. How often do you criticize yourself? How many times have you thought, I'm too old to start over, or I should just accept the way things are? Now, imagine if a good friend came to you and said those things about themselves. Would you agree with them? Or would you tell them, that's not true, you still have so much to offer, so much life left to live? You deserve that same kindness from yourself. So the next time you catch yourself thinking something negative, stop. Replace it with something empowering. Instead of, I'm too old to change, say, every day is a chance to create a better life for myself. Instead of, no one listens to me, say, I deserve to be heard, and I will make my voice known. Because confidence doesn't come from what others think of you. It comes from what you believe about yourself. And as you rebuild that confidence, something amazing will start to happen. You'll begin attracting better people into your life. That's the next big step in taking back control. Choosing relationships that lift you up. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go out and make a whole new group of friends overnight. But it does mean being intentional about who you spend time with. Start paying attention to how you feel after being around certain people. Do you feel happy, energized, and valued? Or do you feel drained, irritated, and overlooked? The people who make you feel good, those are the ones you should invest more time in. And if you don't have many of those people in your life right now, don't worry, it's never too late to build new connections. Try joining a club, taking a class, or simply starting conversations with people who seem kind and open. You might be surprised at how many wonderful, like-minded people are out there, just waiting to connect with someone like you. And here's the best part. When you surround yourself with people who respect and appreciate you, the ones who don't will start to matter less and less. Their opinions won't carry the same weight. Their negativity won't affect you the way it used to. Because you'll finally know, deep down, that you are worth more than the way they treated you. So take a deep breath and remind yourself, your time is valuable. Your energy is precious. And you have every right to protect both. This is your life. Make sure it's filled with people who truly deserve to be in it. Now that you're shifting your focus toward relationships that uplift and respect you, let's talk about something just as important. Protecting your peace and letting go of resentment. Because here's the thing. Even after you set boundaries, distance yourself from toxic people, and start surrounding yourself with more positive relationships, you might still find yourself holding on to old hurts. And that's completely normal. When someone has disrespected you for years, whether it's a friend who never valued your time, a family member who constantly put you down, or even an adult child who takes you for granted, it's easy to carry that frustration with you. Maybe you replay past conversations in your head, thinking about what you should have said. Maybe you feel a tightness in your chest every time their name comes up. But here's the hard truth. Holding on to that resentment only hurts you. Think of it like this. Carrying anger and frustration toward someone who doesn't respect you is like drinking poison and expecting them to suffer. But the only person it's really affecting is you. So how do you let it go? First, remind yourself that you cannot change the past. You can't go back and make someone treat you better. You can't undo years of being dismissed or disrespected. But what you can do is decide that those experiences will no longer control your emotions. That doesn't mean you have to forgive someone who hurt you. It doesn't mean you have to pretend like nothing happened. It simply means you are choosing to release the hold they have over your mind and emotions. One way to do this is through mental redirection. The next time you catch yourself stewing over an old argument or feeling angry about someone's behavior, stop and ask yourself, is thinking about this bringing me peace? Is it helping me move forward? Or is it keeping me stuck in the past? If the answer is that it's holding you back, make the conscious choice to shift your focus. Instead of replaying old hurts, think about something that brings you joy. Maybe it's a hobby you love. Maybe it's a happy memory. Maybe it's a small moment of gratitude, like the warmth of the sun on your face or the comfort of a good cup of coffee. Because every time you choose to focus on something positive, You're training your brain to stop giving power to the people who don't deserve it. And as you do this, you'll start to notice something incredible. Your peace will become unshakable. That's the real goal here. Not just cutting out toxic people. Not just setting boundaries. But truly reclaiming your time, your energy, and your happiness. Because at the end of the day, you can't control how others act. You can't make someone respect you. But what you can do is respect yourself enough to stop letting their actions steal your joy. And that is real freedom. Now that you've taken steps to protect your peace, set boundaries, and shift your energy away from people who don't respect you, there's one final piece to this journey. Fully embracing your worth and moving forward with confidence. Because this isn't just about cutting out negativity. It's about stepping into a new phase of life where you come first. For too long, you might have made excuses for other people's behavior. Maybe you told yourself, that's just how they are. Maybe you accepted disrespect because you didn't want to cause conflict. Maybe you stayed silent because it felt easier than speaking up. But now, you know better. Now, you see that your time, your energy, and your happiness are worth protecting. So what does life look like from here? It looks like waking up each day knowing that you don't have to tolerate people who drain you. It looks like having conversations where you feel heard and valued. It looks like choosing to spend your time with people who see you, respect you, and appreciate you, instead of those who make you feel invisible. It also means letting go of guilt. Because when you start prioritizing yourself, some people won't like it. They might push back. They might try to guilt you into going back to the way things were. But here's what you have to remember. That's their problem, not yours. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your time and energy, especially if they haven't earned it. And if someone chooses to walk away because you finally demanded respect, let them go. Because the right people, the ones who truly care about you, will want to stay in your life not because of what you do for them, but because of who you are. So as we wrap up, I want you to take a deep breath and remind yourself of something important. You deserve respect. You deserve peace. You deserve relationships that bring you joy. And from this moment forward, you have full permission to walk away from anything or anyone that doesn't align with that. Because this is your life. And it's time to start living it on your terms. If this message resonated with you, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content to help you live your best life after 60. Here's to the next chapter, one where you are respected, valued, and truly happy.